everybody, welcome to Flosstube number 22 and happy Valentine's Day. I hope you're having a wonderful day, whether you're doing something just by yourself or if you're celebrating the day with a loved one. I hope you're having a great day. My husband and I just got home. We went on a little weekend trip. One of my best friends, she and her husband actually introduced my husband and I. And he was a blind date many years ago. And so we try and take Valentine's weekend and celebrate with them. Their anniversary is really close to the same time as ours. And so it's just fun to take some time and kind of cultivate that friendship, go and do something fun together. And we have a good time every time we go. Our anniversary is actually February 13th. And everybody was like, why did you not just go ahead and wait one more day and get married on the 14th? Well, my thinking was we have our anniversary day to celebrate, which is the 13th, and then we celebrate Valentine's Day, the 14th. That way we get two special days right together. So I thought I was thinking ahead a little bit. I get 2 days instead of just one this way. But anyway, we had a great time, and I hope you're having a good day as well. I have a Valentine Finish that I want to show you today. And this was such a fun stitch. It was very quick, very easy to stitch, and it was not hard to put together. So let me show you what I did. The design is by My Big Toe, and it's called Love Completely. And I just think that's a sweet design. I used geranium. It calls for mulberry, endive, and carriage black. Now, I did use endive, and I used, I think, 644 instead of the black. And I used geranium instead of the mulberry. But I love how it turned out, and so I'm going to show it to you now. I put on, this is a little paddle I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and I'll have the information down below, but it was $17.99, and I know I didn't pay that for it. I think I paid half. It has actually in the center section, which you can't see right now, it's kind of a chalkboard finish. I didn't paint the paddle. You could if you wanted to, but I knew that chalkboard area was going to be covered, and I kind of liked the natural wood color for this particular finish. So I just left it. What I did, I had the lid to a jar that was about the size of the circle that I needed, so I traced that on some sticky board. I mounted my stitching on the sticky board, glued it down. Then around the very edge of where the chalk painted area was, I put this rickrack, and that's called Brickhouse, and it's by Lady Dot. And I used enough to go all the way around, and look how much I still have left. So you get quite a bit, enough to do a couple projects at least. So I glued the rickrack down. Then I still had a little area that I wanted to cover. So I took some of the little mini pom-pom, and this came from Hobby Lobby. It was an Ivory mini pom-pom. It was like $2.99, and you get 3 yards on a spool. So that's a bargain. Lots of pom-pom for your money. And if you catch Hobby Lobby's ribbon, lots of times it's on sale for 50% off. So that's really a bargain if you can catch it when it's on sale. So I added that little pom-pom around to kind of fill it in. And lots of times, I think you can see, I will tuck that underneath, but I wanted it out a little bit more to cover that space up. So I just glued it down, and that was my finish as far as the trim. Then on top, I had this ribbon I found at Hobby Lobby as well. I cut this little succulent off of a stem had 3 of them on it. Added that to the center of my bow, and I have a finish. Very quick and very easy. And while this is kind of in the Valentine theme, this is something you could leave out all year. I mean, just Love Completely. I think that's sweet, and it's something that you could put outside and leave all the time. You wouldn't have to just put this out for Valentine's Day. So that's my little finish. And this had a little jute rope loop up here, so you could hang it by that, or you can just hang it on a little nail if you wanted to, or put it in an easel, however you like to display it. So that was my finish this week. Lots and lots of fun. And once again, the design is by My Big Toe. And I still want to know where they got their name. It just tickles me every time I get a pattern and it's from them. I always wonder, why in the world did they name it My Big Toe? It's very catchy. It always catches my attention, so that was some smart thinking. But I would love to know what and why they named their business My Big Toe. I think there's bound to be a good story there. So anyway, that's my Valentine finish this week. So let me lay that over there. And in honor of Valentine's Day, and my need to teach some kind of a history lesson, I wanted to share with you some things I found out about Valentine's Day. We've all probably heard the story about St. Valentine and how supposedly Valentine's Day got started. And so I didn't want to share that again, but I wanted to share some customs about how people celebrate Valentine's Day in different areas of the world. And I thought some of these were very interesting. So the first one is England. And it says, while most of England celebrates Valentine's Day by exchanging a gift with their significant other, in the county of Norfolk, a character named Jack Valentine brings gifts for children. Kind of like a Santa Claus, only it's Jack Valentine, and he brings little presents for the children. In Wales, they celebrate St. Dwynwen's Day on January 25th. That's the patron saint of lovers. It is tradition for the men to give women gifts in the form of hand-carved wooden spoons. So if you have a significant other, he would bring you a gift and it would be some type of a wooden spoon. In France, and we kind of think of France as being a romantic country, it said a French Valentine's Day tradition had to be banned by the government. So that got my attention. I had to see what it was. It said it started to get out of hand. Single men and women used to gather in houses that faced each other. So I guess you'd have all the men on one side of the street in a house, all the women in a house on the other side of the street. Men and women would want to be paired up with each other, and so they would shout across to the opposite house. And if men weren't happy with their match, they could just leave that person and shout and find somebody else. It said the women who were left unmatched would gather together. I guess they were upset because nobody picked them. And they would burn pictures of all the men afterwards. So I kind of thought that was kind of funny. But apparently it did not sit well in France, and it has been outlawed. China, on the 7th day of the 7th month on the Chinese lunar calendar, people in China celebrate, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, it's Qixi Festival, based on a tale of the weaver girl and the cowherd who were separated on opposite sides of the Silver River, which is the Milky Way. Their love was not allowed, and so a flock of magpies would form a bridge so they could cross across and meet each other for one day a year. In Germany, pigs are a symbol of luck and love. So they are seen on cards and gifts on Valentine's Day there. They're often accompanied by other symbols of luck, such as four-leaf clovers. So if you lived in Germany and somebody gave you a pig, it would not be an insult. It would be, that's their way of showing luck and love. In Finland and Estonia, the 14th of February is known as Friends Day. And friendship is celebrated instead of romantic love. So that's kind of cool. I know I've heard Galentine's Day, Happy Galentine's Day. So if you've got your girlfriends, everybody can kind of go and hang out. Instead of being a romantic type of date, you're hanging out with your girlfriends. So I've heard of that here too. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of fun to see their similarities in ways that we celebrate Valentine's Day around the world, but there's also some very big differences as well. The house shouting kind of tickled me. And it would be good to know that if I had a card with a pig on it, that really wasn't a bad thing. That was wishing you good luck. So anyway, that's my history lesson for today. Now, I want to show you, I'm so excited. I had told you guys several weeks ago on one of my videos about the IStitch band sampler stitch along. And I joined it. It just sounded like lots of fun. And I had to order my banding, and it was coming from Denmark. So that was a wait. That's quite a ways to be shipping things. So I've been anxiously stalking my mailman, and it finally came in last week. And so immediately everything went on hold. That's what I wanted to stitch, because this past Friday was week 6 release. And so I'm behind. I was behind 6 weeks. And so I wanted to really use this past week to get caught up, because each week it's just teeny tiny. It's like a couple rows. So it's not hard if you're caught up to keep up, because you're just getting one small section every Friday. She sends it out in an email, and you have a chance to stitch that. And it's probably a one evening stitch. So that was my plan. Every Friday evening, I would stitch on the band sampler. So I got my banding, which was beautiful. I was very happy with it, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like. It's got this pretty edge, just a beautiful banding. And I finally decided, I know I told you guys, I was trying to decide what I was going to use. And I wanted to go in my living room, and I have blues and whites and yellow. So I ended up going with a Waterlilies silk, and it's called Saint Tropez, and it's blues and yellows. And so I'm going to show you kind of what I've got. And I am so happy with what I've got so far. Teeny tiny. It's 1/1. So there's some tiny stitches in there, but I absolutely love it. So if you're interested, you can go on Facebook. She's got a page. It's IStitch Band Sampler Stitch Along. I believe she's calling this the Denim Band Sampler. And everybody's kind of picked their color. It's in a blue theme. They're wanting everybody to stay in the blues. But lots of pretty color combinations, and it's just fun to see what everybody's choosing to do theirs in. So I'm excited. I am caught up, and next Friday I won't be overwhelmed. I'll have my one little section to stitch, and hopefully I'll be able to keep up. There's 30 weeks of this stitch along. So I just finished week 6. So we've got several more, 24 more weeks of this to go. So it's going to be a big one, but I'll be real proud of it when it's finished. That's what I stitched on my whip. Now I'm still working on the Mary Queen of Scots. I did get maybe a letter and a half stitched on my Mary Queen of Scots sampler, but that's not enough difference to really show you. Hopefully next week I can show you guys a lot more progress on that. Since I'm caught up on my band sampler, I can get busy on my Mary Queen of Scots sampler. So that's kind of what my whips are going to be for this next week. Now, I do want to show you, I got a Scottish sampler that I ordered from Richard Grease again, and just love it. It is an old sampler it's not in the frame, so that's kind of fun. I can show you the front and the back. In this particular sampler, you're going to see a huge difference in the front and the back. So if I hold it up, a lot of it is typical Scottish. It's got some specialty stitches, so that will be fun to chart and stitch. Now, if you just look at the front, it looks like an off-white with the green, but look at what color we have on the back. We have this beautiful purple. So it's using a darker green, a purple. It has this red. And then at the bottom, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a little bit of a lighter green mixed in with that bottom alphabet. So just 4 colors. There's not that many. This was stitched by Jessie Monroe. And it says, I love this little part here. Jessie Monroe sewed this. Just matter of fact. Bathgate, age 11, 1868. I had to turn around. I was trying to read the numbers backwards. So 1868, Jessie Monroe sewed this in Bathgate. And I do have some history on this particular young lady. So it'll be fun to put that with the sampler as I get it reproduced. But this week, this is also in my WIP pile to work on. I'm going to start charting and hopefully getting it ready to stitch. I'll show you what linen. I went today, and this is probably one of my favorite parts of reproducing a sampler. I love playing with color and linens and threads and just getting in the middle of all that. So I took my sampler down to Stitcher's Garden, and she's so sweet to just let me come in, and it's easier for me to go there because she has all of her threads displayed, and I can just kind of go through. It's easier than digging through all mine. And look and see what colors do I think I can get that will be as close to the original sampler as I can get. And so this is what I've picked out. I got Fox and Rabbit baked clay to use for my linen. I'm going to stitch it on a 32 count. And then I got this darker green, a little bit lighter. This is my red, and I wanted the red, and the Scottish samplers that I have, the red is got just a little bit of an orange tone to it. So I wanted to try and find a red that would fit that. So I think that's going to work great. And then this purple. So those are my colors. And I love the Fox and Rabbit linen. I've used quite a bit of that this year and just really enjoy stitching on it. There's a couple new colors out, and I can't wait to see what they have at market and continue just enabling with the Fox and Rabbit linen. It's not too hard to do because it's just, they do a beautiful linen. Then, let's see, what else did I have I wanted to show you? Oh, I want to show you some of my haul that I found this week. I'm so excited. I found this at Hobby Lobby because I know after Valentine's Day, I'll take all my Valentine decorations down and get ready to put my Easter stuff up. And so this I thought was adorable. It's at Hobby Lobby. It was $2.99. And I don't think you wouldn't even have to paint it. You could just mount your stitching right on it. Just a little Easter egg. And I'm not sure what design I'm going to put on it. I may chart something, and then I may just find something and stitch it. But I want to use this. I want to use this pretty blue fabric. And look at the ribbon I found from Hobby Lobby. I thought that was so, it just looks like Easter. And look how pretty with the fabric. Do you guys ever do this? I've got the board. I have the ribbon. I have the color fabric I want to stitch on. I have the fabric that I want to use for the finishing. And I'm not sure what I'm even going to stitch on it. But I'm ready. I'm going to use some combination of this. So anyway, that was a find from Hobby Lobby. And I'll have all the information down below. It's in their Easter section. And so since it's early in the season, you should be able to find it. But if you can't, with a number, hopefully you can go online and maybe order one. Then I found these little moss bunnies. I thought they were adorable. It's 3 in a packet for $3.99, and they'll probably have on sale very quickly if not already. And so I thought these would be cute with a finish, like in a bow or on the side down below on your finishing. So I have one of these to give away this week. Then last fall, I showed you these little paddles that I found at Hobby Lobby. And after fall, they were gone. Now they have them out with their spring, and down here they have these little rabbits kind of wood burned into the paddle. They also have some that have like a little cluster of carrots. But I love that little rabbit. I thought he was so cute. So you could actually stitch a little small and mount it on here for Easter. Put a cute little bow and you're ready to go. These paddles are $3.99. They're in the Easter section. And like I said, they have this one with the bunny, but they also have one with little clump of carrots. Then I went to Target. And in their kind of dollar bins at the front when you first go in the store, I found the most adorable board. And so this has got to go in my WIP to do this week basket because I can't wait to stitch it. Matter of fact, I may start on it tonight. But look at this cute little board. It looks like a little Easter egg or rabbit face. It's got the ears. And that wouldn't even have to be painted. It's ready to just mount some stitching. I think I paid $5 for this. And it's a nice size to pick something out. And I'm going to show you what I've got to stitch for mine. I love Prairie Schooler. And I found this. And I think I'm going to do this little guy right here. It just says Happy Easter. But I did change the colors up a little bit. I am going to use the black. See if I can get it pulled over here. The black Ada. But I did an 11, no I didn't. I'm about to show you wrong. Yes, I did. I did an 11 count because I want the design to fill in that open space on the board. And these are some of the colors that I got to work on that little guy. See if I can hold it up where you can see it pretty easily. And I love this one. That just looks like Easter to me with all those pretty pastels. So I just pulled these DMC colors, gonna put it on this Ada and see how he turns out. And then I got this little chenille. It's Lady Dot New Leaves to match the green. And when I finish, I'll put him on here. So maybe next week I'll be able to show you this completely finished. That's my goal anyway. Let me lay this back over here, but you might want to check out your Target if you have one close by because those little boards are adorable. For $5, you can't beat it. Then in Hobby Lobby, I found these little wooden hearts. They're $4.99, but they're Valentine, so they'll be on sale now, so go grab you some. There's 54 pieces in here. So, I mean, oh my goodness, there's a ton. But these would be adorable to use in finishes. You could paint them, you could leave them natural, put them in a bow, and be set to go with some of your fully finished items. So that was another purchase this week. Then I found a couple of these little baskets. They were in the Easter section as well. $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. That'd be cute for a little finish. So I got one of those to give away as well as the wooden hearts. Then my other purchases this week, I went to Pleasant Hill Shaker Village with a friend. We've been researching shaker samplers. There's lots of Quakers, but shaker samplers are kind of hard to find. There's not a lot of the shaker samplers to be found. So we've kind of been on a mission. We're researching them and visiting some of the shaker villages and trying to learn a bit more about them. They're very similar to the Quakers, but they kind of broke off and became their own religious branch. And there are some differences in the samplers, and I'll share more of that with you as we learn more ourselves. But when we went, I found this one book, and this was at Pleasant Hill Shaker Village. And it's a Shaker Eldris and her dye journal, Purple on Silk. And this whole little book is talking about how this shaker used a lot of foods, plants, natural type of dyes to dye her textiles and linens. And it just says here on the back, she has many years experience in spinning, weaving, and dyeing fibers. She's experimented with natural dyes from native plants. And so I thought that would be so interesting. It always amazes me how do they know to use these natural dyes and how long to leave it to where it would do a good job dyeing their cloth or their thread or whatever it was they were dyeing. So I'm kind of anxious to start. I haven't started reading this yet, but I think it'd be interesting. So Purple on Silk. I had to get that book. Then I got this little book. It's just Pleasant Hill and it's Shakers. Kind of tells the history behind that. And of course I had to get some shaker recipe books. The food there was delicious. And then this was so cute. It's the Shaker's Guide to Good Manners. And I will tell you, they called them Shakers, and we were like, how did they come up with that name? And it kind of started out a little derogatory. They said when they would worship, they just got so overcome, they would just shake. And song and dance was a big part of their worship service. But then even the Shakers started calling themselves Shakers. And so it just stuck. The name just stuck with them. But in this little book, they had lots of little rules they had to follow. And in the back, I was trying to see here. This is called Behavior at the Table. So like if you're eating, here are lots of rules you should follow. And as I looked on this, let me just scan. There were like 60 something rules for eating at the table. That blew my mind. I don't think I'd ever get them all down pat. But here's a couple that I think are kind of funny. This one says, spread your handkerchief in your lap before you begin to eat. Basically, use your napkin. So that's kind of good. The body should incline a little forward when eating to avoid dropping food on your clothes. Let's see here. Be careful not to touch food with your hands, and only what you intend to eat yourself, whether you cut or break bread, cakes, pies, or whatever. Don't leave the prints of your fingers for other people to eat on their food. Nothing looks more clownish at the table than to see a person grasp and handle the food that he does not eat himself. Okay, let's see if there's another one. Do not come to the table without having your hands and face washed and your hair combed. I thought I'd be in trouble. I've been to my breakfast table many a time in my pajamas without my hair combed. So I would have already been in trouble. Here's another one. Dip not your meat in the sauce. Obviously, they did not live in the South. We have sauce on everything. Number 42, throw nothing under the table. I could just see some little kids throwing their food they didn't want to have to eat under the table. So anyway, it was just a fun book. I haven't read all of it, but I've had fun going through and just reading some of the rules. I can tell you right now, I would have probably already been in trouble before breaking some of them. Now, winners last week. Let me show you what we have to give away. And I must have left the names downstairs. I'll have the names of the winners listed below. But I had two things to give away last week. I had this little glitter heart. I haven't done anything with mine yet, but I have it in my pile of finishing items. But I thought it would be so cute. You could put a little stitch piece behind it. I also had this little Valentine heart. And so that's my two giveaways from last week. So I'll put the winners' names down below. Check to make sure if you're a winner. If you are, just be sure I have your mailing address and I'll get these out to you. I think that's all I have for this week. I appreciate each of you that are watching. I have a lot of new subscribers, so thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please go down below and click the subscribe button so you'll get notifications when I have a new video up. I am leaving Wednesday, going to the Western Reserve. A friend of mine, we're going to go look at some more shaker samplers, and I'll share what we find out when I get back. I'm anxious to see these in person. To me, it's just so intriguing to see how these young ladies stitched years and years ago and help us to feel that connection to stitchers from the past. So I'm looking forward to the trip, looking forward to seeing these samplers, and hopefully I'll have lots of information to share with you. And hopefully next week I'll have some progress on this Scottish sampler to share as well. My plan is in a couple of weeks to be able to release Mary Ellis, which was the little girl I told you guys before, reminds me of Annie Oakley of cross stitching. I have that little colorful sampler, the adaptation and the reproduction ready that I will be able to release. And hopefully I'll have this little Scottish sampler ready to release at the same time. So be watching. Stay tuned on that. If you have not joined the Violets and Verses Facebook page, please go over and do that. Anytime I travel, I do Traveling Violets, and we have like little giveaways and things from wherever the violets are traveling. So it's kind of fun. I appreciate everybody that participated in the Stitcher's Heart Challenge. I love seeing all the different color combinations, all the different finishes. You guys are a talented group. It was fun to inspire everybody with different ways to take the same pattern, use a different color combination and a different finish, and get such a different piece to use. So hopefully it inspired some of you as well. So thank you for participating. For those of you that stitched it and posted your pictures, I really appreciate it. And I will be drawing tonight on the Violets and Verses Facebook page for our winner from that, which was a $50 gift certificate to Stitcher's Garden. So one lucky winner that participated will get a chance to do a little bit of guilt-free shopping. That's always fun. Thank you guys again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a rest of your Valentine's Day that is fun, spent with family or friends, and a little bit of time to squeeze in and stitch. That's what I plan on doing later this evening, get a little bit of stitching in. So take care, and I hope to talk to you guys next week. Bye.